Welcome back to the A-Files podcast. Okay, Kash Patel, the number one subject. I talk about him so much alongside Epstein. I just cannot understand this man. He is so in over his head and he is so screwed. Not only is he underperforming, which we're not surprised because he was a former podcaster, but like we've discussed before, he is using our money, okay, taxpayers' dollars, our hard earned money, to fly his wannabe country star girlfriend around the joint. It's actually insane. He is way in over his head. He's not solved any national FBI crisis. He's an absolute embarrassment, and he wears size medium women's jackets. And he's really pissed that we know that fact, by the way. So we'll get into that a bit later because, as soon as I heard that Kash Patel wears a medium-sized women's jacket, I just knew. I was thrilled. I was thrilled. And the thing is, people might say, why are you making fun of him? Like, who cares if he's wearing a girl's jacket? No, make fun of this administration. Why? Because they make fun of others. They're absolute bullies. They call people out of their name, like they did Governor Tim Walz from Minnesota. Trump called him the R word. Trump literally called him the R word, said it out loud. He said it multiple times. This was in the last 2 days. You probably all have heard it. It is absolutely vile and disgusting. Not only that, but Tim Walz, I can't remember if it's his son or daughter, but his kid has a disability. So it's hitting below the belt in so many different ways. That's absolutely vile. This president is a disgrace. He is a disgusting, vile orange man. And so he said that, and so he said that, and then he was just made some racist ass comments yesterday about Somalians here in America because he's a racist. Like, listen, I don't know why everyone's so surprised at his racism. I feel like the only people that are surprised are like the MAGAs that vote for him. You know what I'm saying? Because do you remember back in the day when he wouldn't let black people into his buildings? He wouldn't let black people rent from him. He's been this way. Remember the Central Park Five? He lied on them. So I don't understand why everyone is so shocked at this man's racism. He has hated non-whites for years. And listen, you notice I say non-whites. I'm not talking about the white passing folks. White passing folks, he don't like y'all either because you fall under a POC category whether you like it or not. And I don't know why you continue to support this man. He does not like you. He does not like you, me, your mama, your neighbor, your dog. He doesn't like Minnie. Well, Minnie doesn't like his ass either. So it's just mind-boggling to me that we can let this man get away with complete murder, literally murder. And I say that because of the boats in the Caribbean. Pete Hegseth and crew are in a world of trouble. And I'm going to cover that later on. They are literally in so much trouble. They're committing war crimes and killing innocent people and lying, saying that they are carrying fentanyl drugs into United States, which is absolutely impossible because fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela, you guys. They do not make fentanyl in Venezuela. So it's a war crime. He's literally killing people for the fun of it. Not only that, they did something called a second strike. And so a second strike is really frowned upon. And keep in mind, I'm not in the army. I don't know this stuff. I'm just taking in what I'm reading and learning on the fly. But to do a second strike, so you strike the boat once, right? You bomb the boat once, and that's typically it. If it ever has to escalate to that, but typically it doesn't escalate to that, right? Because there's something called due process. So what you do is you approach the boat, capture the people, and you put them on trial if you suspect them to bring in drugs in the United States of America, which I would agree with because we do have a drug crisis here in America, which maybe we'll go into it one day because we got to talk about Reagan and the war on drugs, okay? We really got to talk about that stuff. So going back to the strikes. So if you are to strike a boat, you only do it once. And I can't believe I'm saying it so like casually because you shouldn't be doing it anyways. But typically you only do it once. A second strike is frowned upon and I believe it's even illegal. But Pete Hegseth and them did it. And they're trying to put blame on other people. So I'm telling you right now, when we have the trial of our lifetime, which I keep talking about that I'm going to live stream when Trump and all them are all out of the office, Pete Hegseth is on that chopping block right next to his buddy Kash Patel. Now, let's talk about Kash Patel. So as you all know from the few last episodes that I reported on, if you have heard them, I definitely go recommend checking them out. Kash Patel used our money to fly a private jet to see his aspiring country music star girlfriend. I've never heard of her, don't care for her. But he's using taxpayers' jet, and I believe he's used over 65 million or something like that. It's something allegedly astronomical that this man, useless FBI wannabe director, ex-podcaster, is using our money to go get to have sex. Let's be honest. If you see the girl, I'm sorry. The only reason why she's with him is because he has power. I don't care. I'm going to hit below the belt when it comes to a certain amount of them because they hit below the belt with us. And especially Donald Trump calling people the R word, saying some racist, horrific things about Black Somalians. It's disgusting. Kash Patel, he is a pedophile sympathizer. Remember, he said it was a Democratic hoax of the Epstein files. So yeah, I don't care. I really don't care. He's in over his head and I don't care. So what happened with Kash Patel and why is everyone coming at our boy? Okay, so the FBI director, Kash Patel, is, as we said, in over his head. There was a scathing 115-page report that was created by the National Alliance of Retired and Active Duty FBI Special Agents and Analysts. And in that leaked report, by the way, it was leaked and obtained by the New York Post, so probably someone just slipped the New York Post a little something here and there. And allegedly. And so the leaked assessment that the New York Post obtained is based on confidential accounts from 24 FBI sources that are very close to this current administration. Within this report, they accused Kash Patel of lacking the experience that led to the FBI. I mean, we knew that. And that the managers will not take initiative without explicit direction for fear of being fired. We all kind of knew that though, right? Because they've been laying off people left and right. Literally, people have been quitting on the Trump administration because they're doing illegal stuff. So one of the key accusations within the report that I think is very telling and it kind of solidifies everything we've been saying, right? And is that everybody internally are paralyzed with fear. The managers are afraid of losing their jobs because think about it. Inflation, it's not a great time to lose your job. I'm unemployed. Trust me, take my word on it. So they are afraid of losing their jobs and they are waiting on directions from guess who? Kash frickin' Patel. So Kash Patel, the most unqualified FBI director in the history of FBI directors. The bar is very low right now. I mean, I might apply next year. But then the qualified managers do not feel empowered to do their job. It's just, this is the administration to a T. So the report also mentions Dan Bongino, and I've not really mentioned Dan Bongino here on the podcast yet because he's a clown, but he is the second in command to Kash Patel, and he's absolutely a disaster too. Guess what? He's a former podcaster. So you can imagine Dumb and Dumber. So I got the Purge twins as Donald Trump's boys, right? So they're the Purge twins. Then we got Dumb and Dumber, and that's Kash Patel and Don Bongino, whatever the hell. Now, Dumber is Kash Patel, and Dumb is Dan Bongino. Just because Kash Patel's the face, I think it's easier. So just so you know, if I say Dumb and Dumber, you know who. So I know you've all been waiting on the edge of your seat. You're probably like, why am I talking about this? What is going on? Well, I have to tell you my most favorite fact within this report. Are you ready? Well, there was one piece of information that caught my attention. A source claimed that Kash Patel refused to step off the plane. Do you remember when Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Well, Kash Patel flew to where, I believe it was Utah. Kash Patel flew to Utah, was on the plane, and refused to get off the plane at the Charlie Kirk, at the site of where Charlie Kirk was murdered, until he had an FBI raid jacket on. You know what I'm talking about? The bomber jackets that has the big yellow letters that say FBI. Do you know what I mean? You know that one? Yeah, well, Kash Patel was adamant about not stepping off the plane to investigate the killing of Charlie Kirk until he had that little jacket. And guess what? No one could get him a jacket because nothing would fit. It was too big because, he's tiny. And because, Kash Patel couldn't find his size, right? He then had to borrow a jacket from a female agent. And then he kept complaining because he said that the jacket didn't look right. It didn't look like the movies that he sees. Because, they're all podcasters. They watch the movies. And so after he complained about there being empty spaces on the jacket, blah, 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 they had to judge it up a little bit and do some DIY on that jacket. Like Trump, listen, Trump loves him some DIY. Trump loves him some DIY. Please go look at my other podcast for that. We saw it, the Gold Room, all of that. Kash Patel finds Donald Trump to be his idol. So of course he would want to bedazzle the jacket as much as they can. So he had to make sure that his little ass had the FBI on there, couple little Velcros here and there. What a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, excuse my language. He's just so stupid. Look at him. Just look at the likes of him. So yeah, and of course, that took the world by storm. It took me by storm. I was absolutely on that. When they said medium, I was like, oh, he's going to be pissed. And guess what? He was pissed. Because the best thing you can do to the MAGAs is really come for their ego. And so they think they're these macho men, which they're really not. Like a man to me isn't a MAGA. A man is anti-MAGA, actually. The masculinity thing is really, really important to them. So you got to hit them below the belt. Come for their masculinity. Kash Patel had to wear a size medium female jacket, which, listen, I normally wouldn't care if you threw on my jacket. Like, I've had exes wear my jackets before. It is what it is. It's cute, blah, blah, blah. But I absolutely care when Kash Patel wears a medium-sized ladies' jacket. I absolutely care. So take that as you will. Because you also remember the Charlie Kirk. I think I was so new to the podcasting when this all went down. But do you remember when actually Kash Patel came out and said they had the suspect who killed Charlie Kirk, and then like 20 minutes later, like, oh, just kidding, we don't? You see how like incompetent they are? Just stupid. Stupid. Where are we at with that? Where are we at with this Charlie Kirk case, though? With the Tyler Robinson, the person that was taken into custody in the end? Where are we at with that? I've not had an update. I mean, Candace Owens is... I don't really talk about Candace Owens like that, but, like, it's interesting to see what she has going on over there and all the conspiracy theories. I don't know if you guys are listening to that. It's truly kind of crazy how they're thinking about this. Maybe I'll cover it one day. I'm not really in the business to get into MAGA's fight, so I let them duke it out. But I don't know. This Candace Owens stuff, Turning Point USA, it looks like it's all a mess over there. So I'm paying attention. I don't know about you guys. I'm watching. So yeah, that's just some crazy ass shit. And then I think even Kash Patel... Twitter. I think Kash Patel even came out with like I think Kash Patel came out with something yesterday about the jacket. Let me just quickly check his Twitter, because that's the thing. I'm on Twitter more than ever now because that's how the MAGAs communicate. And I think it's really important for us to know where we're at with them. So I'm doing it for you. Don't even matter. I'll do it for you. It's okay. Where's the jacket? Where's Kash Patel in the jacket? Kash Patel responds to the jacket. Let's take a look. Okay, Kash Patel responds to the humiliating jacket, Huffington Post. Let's see. Patel denies the claim about his jacket, telling Ingram, he went on Laura Ingram, Fox News, crazy, that it's 100% false, and that at the time one of his agents handed him a jacket in Utah and said, "Hey boss, you should probably wear this. We're going to the command center." Kash Patel then says, "I said I'd be honored to wear that." And then another one handed me the SWAT team badge of the unit that was protecting the area where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I wore that with pride. There's no way. First of all, no one called him boss. There's no way someone's going up to Kash Patel and saying, "Hey, boss." No. I absolutely believe the report that Kash Patel would not disembark the plane because his ego took over and he needed an FBI jacket. That's all they care about is the materialistic things. He needed to feel big and bold in that jacket. He was swimming in it, though. When you look at that photo, it really doesn't fit him. I think he's a size small. So yeah, $60 million FBI jet to see his country singer girlfriend. I mean, she's not even a country singer, is she? Alexis Wilkins. Oh, and so another thing about the jet, Kash Patel came out and defended himself against that jet. Are you ready to hear what he said? Kash Patel, quote, "I've also used planes less than my prior two predecessors. And yes, I'm entitled to a personal life, just like my other agency head counterparts with their partners. So do I support my girlfriend? Absolutely. And do I take trips with her? Absolutely." He's so stupid. He's so stupid. Okay, well, if you're entitled to a personal life, pay us all back. You think you should be fine with paying us back? Stop using the personal jet. Why can't you just fly first class on United? Take JetBlue. Listen, your girlfriend, we've never heard from her before. Oh, he also, in a previous interview, said that his girlfriend has done more for this country than many people. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of Alexis Wilkins before. Um, I don't know. She's 27 years old. You know, Kash Patel's like in his 50s, I think. Let me look. Because I talked about this. Kash Patel age. Yeah, he's 45. Okay, close to 50, rounded up. She's 27. What do they have to talk about? Like, what world issues is she solving? I'm 31 years old, and I can tell you I haven't done a damn thing. So if I haven't done anything, you haven't done anything, what do we think this Kash Patel country music singer is going to do? I don't even care if it sounds shady. So, okay, whatever, Cash. Anyway, so that's Cash Patel. I do want to quickly just talk about Costco, just touch on all the lawsuits that Trump is finding himself like neck deep in. Costco sues the Trump administration, seeking a full refund of tariffs because we have been lied to. You know how Trump, we've talked about this before. Trump keeps saying the tariffs, we're going to get that $5,000 check. Do you remember? We're going to get that $5,000 check from the tariffs. Yeah, haven't got that. Have y'all, has that hit y'all bank account? That hasn't hit mine. I can tell you that. And then we're also getting a $2,000 relief check, right? To non-rich people, like he said. I also haven't got that. Heard that's postponed for next year. Love to see it. So Costco is like, screw this. I'm a multi-millionaire, billionaire company. I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna sue the president on behalf of the people. So, so Costco has sued the Trump administration before the Court of International Trade, asking it to consider all tariffs collected under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act unlawful. Costco said that in filing Friday's lawsuit, they are seeking a full refund on all duties under the act paid as a result of President Trump's executive order that imposed what he called reciprocal tariffs. So the Supreme Court is actually now reviewing the legality of Trump's sweeping tariff agenda, right? Obviously, the Supreme Court justices are more right-leaning. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but very interesting that Costco's suing them. So that's proving already from what we've been saying, what the people have been saying, what the grocery prices have been saying, that once again, the tariffs are only benefiting them, the billionaires, and not us. So I just want to quickly talk about the law I just discussed because it is very complicated and I'm trying to research it. So we're going to learn it as we go. In short, it's the IEEPA law. So the IEEPA law is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. And so that has never been used. Trump has been the first president to ever give the green light to use that law to impose import duties. So lower courts, which is really unheard of. Why is he doing that? We didn't have an economic crisis for him to use that act, right? So you need to use that act when there is a crisis. But actually, Biden administration, they did okay on the economy. It was on the up. And Trump now brought that down. And so don't be fooled by the stock market. The stock market is being held up by like 7 to 8 companies. And that's it. We are all in the pockets of 7 to 8 companies. If you have a 401k, if you have money invested in stock market, and listen, like a lot of people don't have a 401k, okay? But I also need to point out that there are people that have a 401k that don't have a lot of money. They may be the lowest paid person at their job that does provide a 401k. So you have to understand, this is not just going to affect rich people. It's going to also affect the working class. Even if you're the manager, you're not even making that much money to live these days. So I think we have to remember that. But I also do recognize that not everybody has a 401k, and the president doesn't know that. So while I don't have a job right now, but like I do have 401ks from my whole career. So obviously I'm not contributing to it right now, but it is growing a little bit, right? It's maintaining because of the stock market. But as soon as those 7 companies decide, hey, something's going on here, and they pull out, what happens to that money that, that's an emergency? So at this point, when you don't have a job, not just for me, but for people that don't have support systems like I do. I'm sorry. I just don't understand why we still have people supporting the Republican Party. I don't know. Because it's not, when I say the Republican Party, I'm talking about all right, because at the point the MAGAs have taken it over. So, and the Republicans that aren't MAGA, which I'm trying to figure out who, some of them are starting to push back. But the problem is they're just now starting to push back, but the damage is done. All right, well, that's all I got for you today. Oh, I just want to quickly talk about one other person. I don't know why, but I'm like, where's Tiffany Trump? Like Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner are running around Israel trying to like buy up Gaza and put all the Trump hotels in there, which is an absolute disaster and completely illegal. But Tiffany Trump, do you remember her? Like, what is she doing? The last thing I heard of Tiffany Trump when she went to that really horrible Trump Pride event in 2022. Do you remember when she went on that stage? Please go look at the video. Go look at the video of Tiffany Trump at a Pride event. It's just horrific. I don't know what to say. It's just disgusting. It's just horrific because it's performative. Trump don't give a shit about anybody in the LGBTQ plus community. And actually in her speech, someone did point out that she says that prior to politics, Trump supports the gays, lesbians, and the LGBTQIA plus community. People noticed she omitted T for transgender from that. So you could take that as you will, because if you exclude one, you really don't give a crap about everybody else, in my opinion. All right, everybody. Well, happy Thursday. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow. It just is so helpful for my little free press. I'm going to use those words now for like free press, independent podcast because it's true. I need to get better at marketing. Okay. Thank you. Bye.